You fam. Slow Feet Don't Eat podcast. We're back. Yo, shout out to everybody, man. I'm glad you guys were able to join. Give everybody a second to kind of get in the building. This is kind of like almost a surprise episode. We didn't promo this one very much, so I'm excited for the people that are going to be on here, as well as the people that will see this later. So shout out to everybody. Tap in, man. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Guys, a couple of housekeeping things. Take this, go share it, go let people know they need to be on this podcast episode, checking this out right now. All right, go share it on Facebook, share on your IG, tag me. I want to see you guys out there. But we got an awesome conversation for you guys tonight. I'm excited about it. One thing that I see or get asked often is, how do I figure out what market I want to work in? How do I know where I want to do deals at? How do I find my virtual market? Yada, yada, yada. Guys, it's not that complicated. So I want to break this down for you in a simple way tonight. Got a guest with me tonight as well, Jeff Trimble. His markets, DFW area in Little Rock, Arkansas. So we're going to have a great conversation about what's been working for him as he's gotten started in the business. He's had some success. We're going to case study one of his deals as well. So I'm excited to get him in here. You guys know the drill. At the end of the conversation, we're going to do some Q&A. Talk with you guys, answer your questions. If you got questions about Jeff's deal, about what he's been doing, what his process has been, any questions from me, we're going to make sure to get those answered for you guys as well. All right. So without further ado, I want to get Jeff in here so we can get this conversation going. Jeff, my man. How you doing, man?
What up, Coach? I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. It's good to see you in here. I'm glad to have you on the podcast, man. You've been doing some dope things. You've been super active in the Chargeship University group since you joined. When did you join, by the way?
I believe it was in October, maybe the first part of October.
Awesome, man. Well, look, we appreciate you in the U family, and I'm looking forward to giving you a platform to share your story, talk about what you've been doing. Since you've gotten started in the real estate business. So let's jump right into it, man. So where are you physically located? All right. I know you're in more than one market. Where are you physically located at?
Yep. So I'm actually located in the DFW area. So specifically Mesquite. It's I'm about 10 minutes east of downtown Dallas.
Awesome. So life in the big city, right? You're in the big city doing your thing. I want to talk, before we get into your deal, before we get into how much you made, all these beautiful things. I want to talk about the fact that you're virtually wholesaling.
Yep.
And you're working these two different markets. So you're working your home market, and then you're also working Little Rock. So for you, because I see this question, I get it all the time. Everybody's like, hey, how do I pick a virtual market? How do I know where to go? How did you pick Little Rock, Arkansas as the market you wanted to be in?
Yeah, so I'm actually from Little Rock. Little Rock is my hometown. We relocated. I say we, me, my wife, and my daughter relocated down to DFW about 3 years ago. So I know Little Rock like the back of my hand. So I know that it's a smaller market than the DFW market. So I figured that that'd be a good kind of combination with a bigger market and a smaller market that I know.
Got you. So Jeff, if I'm hearing you right, you did something that I highly recommend that people do, which is, if you're going to virtually wholesale, find a market to do business in that you have some familiarity with. When you have a market where the streets, the areas, the zip codes, it gives you extra power, right, in what you're doing in terms of the business. So the deal that we're going to talk about, by the way, is that one that was in Dallas, or was this one that was in the Little Rock area?
It was in the Little Rock area.
Perfect. I love it, man. So that kind of segues right into what I wanted to talk about tonight, which is this ever elusive question of, where do I go market at if I want to do this business? And so I guess my question is, I know that you picked it because you were familiar with it, but how did you identify where inside of Little Rock that you actually wanted to do deals at?
Yeah, so a lot of folks use I don't know if it's Maxwell's kind of his, I guess he calls it the what is it, the hack that he does, and list source.
List source hack. Okay.
Yeah, the list source hack. So that's what I did. I did it for both markets actually, but I went in there, I reverse hacked it, looked at the top zip codes, and those were the zip codes that I started targeting.
Dope. Yeah. So guys, Max Maxwell, good friend of mine. He's got a video on his YouTube channel about how to find your virtual market in terms of utilizing list source, really exactly like Jeff did. And guys, it's a really simple process. It's free. You're just going on list source and you are going to, if you find a market that you think is one that you want to actively work in, the biggest thing that you guys have to understand, I see so many people that are working in rural markets or working in markets that, frankly, there's nothing happening in, there's no activity happening in. You want to be somewhere where business is actually happening. I see the U symbols going up in the chat, man. Shout out to all the U family. Shout out to all the U family in here, man. I love to see it.
Yeah.
I love to see it. And so, when you're finding these virtual markets, you have to understand that you're not trying to focus on finding the market you want to be in necessarily. You're looking to find the market where activity is happening and that you are familiar with that market in some capacity. If you are not familiar with the market, it's important to figure out ways to have boots on the ground. That's just what it is. You want to have somebody in that area that can help you facilitate the deal, or you want to tap into resources that can help you facilitate the deal. Jeff, in this deal that we're going to talk about, I know you got family there and you're from there. Did you have boots on the ground that helped you complete this deal?
Absolutely, man. I couldn't have done it without my boots on the ground.
That's awesome, man. So, I'm glad this is working for you. So you've already given away one great tip, which is go check out list source, reverse hack the market. You're going to look at that list that's going to populate for you, and you're looking to see what zip codes with strong activity happening in. And then those are going to be the markets that you want to go check out. I'll give you guys another way before we get into Jeff's story. So a second way that you can accomplish this as well is that you can go on to PropStream. Guys, if you do not have PropStream, I'm telling you, it's a huge game changer in your business. It's one of the must-have apps that you should absolutely have. If you need a free trial, look in the description of the video. You can click on my link, get a 7-day free trial. Now here's the deal. You can go into PropStream, and all you have to do is you can put in your city, county, zip code, whatever the case might be, and it's going to populate that information for you. Once it's populated that information, what you want to do is click on cash buyers. You can do a quick list inside of PropStream, click on cash buyers list, and it's going to populate and show you where cash buyers are buying properties at. All you really have to do is kind of take a look at what those zip codes are that are popping up frequently in that list. And then that's going to be how you can take that and immediately go ahead and start figuring out where you want to market at. And guys, PropStream gives you up to 10,000 records a month included in your monthly cost. So that's the second way that you can absolutely check out and figure out what market that you want to actually market in. Third way is something called the Sweet Spot Locator. You can Google this. It's a small tool that you can check out called the Sweet Spot Locator that can help you identify the hot pockets inside of your market that may work for you as well. So guys, check out those three things. We're going to talk more about figuring out your virtual market here as we move throughout this conversation. But I really wanted Jeff to share his story. I want to get into kind of what he's done, what he's been through. So Jeff, how did this real estate wholesaling journey start for you in the first place? Like what happened and you said, I want to learn about wholesaling?
Yeah, it's a funny story, man. So by trade, I'm a project manager for Walmart supply chain. So one of my associates one day, I was out on the floor and I was just messing around with one of my associates and I asked him, I was like, man, such and such, why do you always come in here so disgruntled? Like you don't want to be here. Like you get paid a lot of money. You got get good benefits. What's wrong? He said, man, I'm not here for the money. I said, okay, what do you mean by that? He was like, man, I sell houses. I said, okay, you're a realtor? He said, no, I'm not a realtor. I find sellers in the market. I find buyers and I sell their contract. I said, oh, okay, so you're illegal. That's what I was thinking. And so I was like, okay, yeah, well, good luck with that. And so about 10 months later, man, my wife had came to me and she was like, Jeff, we both have good paying jobs, but we know that we need to have multiple streams of income. Absolutely. She said, I really wanted to get into real estate. And so I was like, okay, well, let me do some research. I went on YouTube, typed in real estate investing, and the first video that came up was Jerry Norton. And I forget how many steps. It was like 19 steps or something like that to wholesaling. So I was like, let me check out this video. So I look at the video and I'm like, man, that sounds a lot like what the guy at work was telling me about. So I watched the video and connected with the guy at work, and he kind of gave me some of the tools to get started. And that's kind of how I got into wholesale.
Dope, man. So you get started. I love how you found out about it too, right? It's the power of conversation. It's a power of recognizing opportunity. Also, you could have not gone home and did that Google search. Yeah. You could have wrote that off. He could have said, hey, I do real estate, find a seller, find a buyer, make the spread. I mean, you very well could have just been like, yeah, all right, bro. Like, all right. You know what I mean? You in here with me, bro. Like, okay. You know what I'm saying? But instead, right, you actively said to yourself, like, wait a second, like, let me tap in on this. Let me see what he's really talking about and see if it's something that I can take and apply to me. Sounds like you got a strong lady in your life, man, that's got your back and supporting what you're doing, which as men, we always need that, right? We need someone in our corner that's going to push us forward. Women just got a different vision than we can have. They can see things so much clearer sometimes. So you get active in this, you start learning about real estate. It sounds like you're enrolled in YouTube University. At that point. And so you're going and soaking up all this information. And are you able to get things figured out, or how does that process for you with YouTube University even go?
Man, so I forget who it was. I listened to an array of people, and I started to overwhelm myself because so many different people have so many different ways of doing the same thing. Right. And so I realized it was somebody, I can't remember who it was, but they was like, I know you say this all the time, but that you gotta fail forward, and you never will have it all figured out. So I was like, I took about 2 to 3 weeks, and I really immersed myself in like different content, and then I started taking action.
Dope. So what were your first steps? So you fresh in the business, trying to figure this thing out, trying to make something happen. You're in YouTube University. What are your go-to first steps that you started to implement when you were starting out at that point in time?
Man, the first course of action that I took was I went and bought Bandit Signs. and so, but here's the thing though, man. So I bought the Bandit Signs. The guy that I work with, and it was Ty the Flip Man that was talking about the Bandit Signs.
Okay. Shout out to Flip Man, the OG. All right.
Yeah, he OG for real. But so I'm like $1. I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna buy 100 Bandit Signs. That's gonna be $100. I'm gonna get the, ship it and everything. I'm gonna pay about $160. When I ended up buying the Bandit Signs, it ended up being almost $400 because I had to get the horizontal flutes and all that, and I didn't account for a lot of it. So I was like, "Woo, that's forward." I was like, "That's a big difference right there."
Yeah. You probably didn't tell the wife about the extra 300, right?
No, no doubt. She watching too, so don't get me in trouble.
No doubt, man. Hey, shout out to the wife, man. So you go put up your Bandit Signs. Did you do this in your virtual market back home, or you did this in Dallas?
I did that in Dallas. So my wife, Go ahead. Yeah. So what we did is we had made a commitment over the next 4 weeks. We were going to put out 25 Bandit Signs a weekend. So my wife, we wrote on there, we buy houses, cash, fast, put our number down. We was getting up at 3:50 in the morning every Saturday, going and put them out. Just to find out one time, man, I circled back 2 or 3 hours later and the Bandit Signs were gone.
Yeah, man.
I was like, man, but we did that for about a month. We said, this not our type of market.
Yeah, so shout out to everybody who does Bandit Signs, man. Bandit Signs, it's a grind marketing process. And the thing to understand about Bandit Signs is important is that you got to put out a lot of Bandit Signs. You got to put them out extremely frequently for them to work. I have not done Bandit Signs personally in I think like 9 years or 10 years, something like that. Did them for a little bit when I first started out. It just wasn't a marketing strategy that worked for me greatly. It just took so much effort and energy, I felt like, in order to get a very small return on that effort. You know, I felt like we would go out on a Friday. We used to hit it Friday nights. We would go out on Friday nights in ghost mode. You know what I mean? Hitting the street signs or the street light poles and getting signs up. And, you know, like you said, man, you come back Monday, boom, half of those are gone. Haven't really even gotten any calls yet. But I do enjoy that process because, you know, somebody's willing to go out like you did and put up Bandit Signs. That shows me they got what it takes to do this business because they're willing to extend that effort and do things that are uncomfortable and that you wouldn't commonly, you know, kind of even be doing. So how did you, I know you joined the U in October. So how did you come across me and then make that decision that you wanted to join the U?
Man, you were one of the people that I had in my rotation of folks that I was watching. And for some reason, I really started watching you after the close of the Olympics. And I was like, man, that dude is smooth on the phones. Like, man, like the way you was handling those sellers, you had like a polite, aggressive demeanor. And that resonates with me because that's how I am.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like I gotta get in. And I seen that you were advertising to you. I was like, man, that's it.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. So you come into the U, you come into the coaching program. Again, shout out to you for being in there, man. Shout out to you for taking action. So you get in, and you know, one of the first things I tell all my students when you guys join is, hey, look, I know you've been looking at 28 different things on YouTube and every little Facebook group, and I get it, I understand. I need you to focus on my process and exactly what I'm telling you because I'm going to lead you to the water. All right. Yeah. So you came in. And what was it like when you first came in? You hit the U, you start absorbing a lot of the content, the information. What was that like for you?
Man, so for me, the best part about the U is having like-minded individuals that you can be feeling down, you can need some encouragement, you can need some support, and you're able to hop in there. And it's everyday people like me. You know, it's one thing for us to get encouragement from you, but you're a millionaire, you know.
Right. Yeah.
We're trying to get there. It's another thing when somebody that is in my predicament, you know, they understand if it hits a little different. And so that means a lot.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you saying that. You know, when I put the program together, it was real important to me to create a group aspect to it because I understood the importance and do understand the importance of you guys need that interaction with each other. You need that communication with each other because this can be a mentally hard business. Like it's not all peaches and cream. Like, let's just be honest, you know, wholesaling is a grinding business. It mentally can weigh on you. And so having those conversations with other people that are dealing with some similar situations, they've got a 9-to-5 that they're still dealing with and trying to figure out how to free themselves from that 9-to-5 by wholesaling real estate. Maybe they've gotten properties on the contract, they didn't close, and they got call reluctance, and they're trying to figure out how to deal with that. And so, I mean, I wanted to put that together in a way that people could get the help they needed from me directly, but also get love and support from all the other students in the program at the same time. Because for me, you know, if I had something like that when I was first starting out, I would have been able to go much further faster.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I appreciate, I know we got a lot of you family on here, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. And it's beautiful to see y'all in the group every single day, in the chat, in the forum, uplifting each other and getting behind each other. So you get into you start absorbing the information. What changes? So you're doing Bandit Signs before. What changes in your process once you get into you? Because you originally worked in Dallas. How do you decide, hey, I need to start looking at a virtual market? Talk to me about what that was like.
Yeah. So by the time I had joined the U, I had threw Bandit Signs out the window and not even looked at it. I was like, man, this is not my struggle. This ain't it right here. So I had started texting. And so I was using batch leads to text.
Shout out to Batch. Yeah.
Yeah, some good folks over there, and then I was cold calling because it was just me at the time, and so those were my main forms of marketing. In terms of how I had got into Little Rock, I mean, I started in Little Rock. My first deal was actually in Little Rock, and
Gotcha.
so yeah, out of all my deals, about 90% of them have come from Little Rock. I've only done one deal in Dallas.
Awesome.
So yeah, so that's where my heart is.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question then, Jeff. So, and before I ask you this, actually, I know it has to feel good to, to be able to do business inside of your hometown in Little Rock. I know you may not physically be there. I know it has to feel good to know that you're contributing to the landscape of, the neighborhood and community that you come from, being able to progress and change, man. So shout out to you for doing that. My question, I guess, for you is, in these deals, how often are you going to Little Rock to facilitate the deal?
Man, I don't go to Little Rock to facilitate the deal. I've closed. So today I had one that it's gonna close in the morning, but this will be my.
All right, hold on, man. Shout out to my guy Jeff, man. That's a slight flex over here at the U. All right. So you got another closing tomorrow.
Yeah.
What are you making tomorrow, man? I'm just curious.
10,000.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm gonna tell you why I asked you this question, by the way. All right. I know the wife is watching. All right. I know she's watching. So I wanted you to have to say how much you're making tomorrow so she can make sure to get her something nice. All right.
Man, she already is counting what she doing with the money. She's showing me we're building a house here, and she's showing me all this different furniture. I'm like, I see it.
Hey, listen, furniture is not cheap, man.
No, it's not. I gotta do a few more wholesale deals to pay for it.
No question about it, man. Congrats on the house too, man. So so you're in the market. Let's talk about this deal then. Let's talk about this deal that we were talking about earlier. Because I like highlighting these types of deals because I think it's really important. And you're doing all this with a full-time job.
Absolutely.
All right. So before we even dig into the deal, and I got to ask you this question because so many people struggle with the concept or the thought that how can I do this while maintaining and having a full-time job? And I'm always trying to tell them, like, listen, I started out with a full-time job. I know so many people that started out and did this while maintaining a full-time job. What has that been like for you? How are you balancing the time that you need to work in your business? How are you figuring these things out?
Man, so listen, people are going to put the time into whatever matters to them. And so for me, wealth matters to me. I wanted to, if whatever I'm doing, I'm 2 feet in. I don't have to do things. So if I was going to do this, I was going to do it with all my might. And so I jumped in 2 feet and I started running for it. And so if that means that I got to lose some sleep at night, if that means I got to wake up early in the morning, if that means I got to adjust when I work out, I'm going to do that so that I'm able to accomplish my goal.
Yeah, man, it's all about that time management, and then prioritizing what it is that you actually want to do. And, I talk about this a lot. I know you know this on the weekly calls. Sometimes we got to be willing to give something up for what we want. And that's not the easiest concept in the world to grasp or the easiest thing in the world to accept, but, we have to be willing to sacrifice some things to chase down our dreams and really go after what we want and what we deserve. So shout out to you for doing that, man. So let's tap in on this deal. All right. So where do you find this lead on this deal? What type of list are you on where you find this lead?
Man, so this particular lead did not come from a list.
Talk to him.
Yeah, so I had my boots on the ground. Shout out to my mother-in-law and my mother. Both of them.
Shout out.
And I got some strong women in my life.
Invest in women, guys. Listen, any advice I can give y'all, invest in women.
Yeah. Those two women are my boots on the ground. This particular one came from my mother-in-law. So I had them driving for dollars for me back there. And so every week they had sent over maybe, at that time, 10 to 15 leads. So I compiled and consolidated the list. Mm-hmm. By this time I had got me a VA. So my virtual assistant, I would have her to call on the list that I'm purchasing, including this list. So it was kind of a stacked lead because it came from driving for dollars, but my VA was able to qualify the seller to pass over to me as a warm lead.
All right, man. You sound like you're talking some new business right now. All right, so I love it, man. We gotta keep the top secret nuclear code.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep that one on the for right now. We're gonna talk about everything else, but the codes. All right, so let me make sure I got this right. So you bring your mother and mother-in-law into the operation. I'm loving this already. So because we talk family business at the so you bring the family in. How do you even get them to buy in on what you're doing in the first place?
So my mom,
because they got to be looking at you like, Jeff, come on, bro. Like,
so my mom, she knows her son. I'm my only child for her. And she poured a lot into me. She's a single black mother. Man, like she amazing. So she knows that anything that I am committed to, I'm not gonna have to do it. No doubt. My mother-in-law has grown to know that from me being married to her daughter. So thankfully, they trust me that if I'm asking them to come in on this, they're trusting my guidance on it.
Or I love that, man. So they know Jeff say he getting on something, man. You about to get active.
That's real.
So they driving for dollars and everything. Right? They really all the way in with you.
Yes,
so driving for dollars. They come across this opportunity. Okay. Did you say that you skip traced it and got the information?
Yeah. So once my mother-in-law sent over the addresses, I actually was using at that time Deal Machine. So I will put them in Deal Machine, make sure that it was an absentee owner, make sure it was vacant, qualify that way. And then once I did that, then I would skip trace it through batch leads. They had a skip tracing.
So you skip trace it. You get on the phone. How do you even know what to say when you call the seller?
So this one, it was already qualified by my cold caller. So I kind of have a melting pot, honestly, Chris, of my business from you moguls.
Break it down.
And so we'll get into my contract later. My cold calling script, I had this before I got in your program, actually comes from Steven Morales.
That's my guy, man. Shout out to my boy Steven Morales, man. That's my guy, man.
Yeah. So it's a really good cold calling script. So when I hired my VA, I still to this day I spend 30 minutes on the phone with her every day because I gotta pour into it.
Jeff, I need you to say this one more time for me because you know how much I preach. All right, you know how much I preach about properly training your team. Say that for me one more time. You said you got a VA.
Yeah.
And you talk to her when?
Yeah, I talk to her every day. I need to know what she's doing every day. Sometimes I call her multiple times a day. If I go and listen to a call in Mojo and it don't sound right, I'm calling her and course correcting right then. She got to be right.
I love it, man. Guys, VAs are amazing. VAs are something that can drastically help your business. But your VA is only as good as you train them. If you don't spend time with your VA, Jeff, and Jeff, I admire this about you, man. Jeff is spending 30 minutes a day with his VA and additional time past that to make sure they fully understand what he's doing, how he's trying to implement it. And if they make a mistake, he's trying to address it the same day so that they can actively fix it. And then when they run into the opportunity again, they're able to implement what they've learned from Jeff in that time frame. Where did you source your VA from?
It's called VA something my VA is in Philippines. I forget the software that it was, but it was some software that I got from researching, Philippine.
Is this a full-time VA, part-time VA?
So I got to work in 30 hours. I didn't want her to work 40 hours because I know cold calling is a very mundane task.
You're smart. You're smart.
Yeah. So I knew that utilization is going to go down after a certain amount of time. So I wanted her at that 30-hour mark.
I love this. All right. So smart. All right. I talk about this a lot. So guys, when you have a VA or somebody making cold calling is like the boiler room. It's grind work. Everybody ain't built for it. We all know that. All right. So when you got somebody that can cold call, it's like having a great running back.
Mm-hmm.
You got to take him out every few downs and let him get a breather. You can't just run. You can't run him in the ground.
Yeah.
A lot of people make that mistake. They try to stick somebody on the phone for 8 hours straight. Don't do that. It's not going to work out the way that you want to. Do you mind sharing what your VA shift is? Like,
Yeah.
what hours do you have? I know they're working 30 hours a week, but I'm assuming because like I split mine. So we have them work in the morning, we have them work in the evening. How are you kind of doing that in your business?
Yep. So right now our VA works from 8 to 2, and she works Monday through Friday. Sometimes we may flex her on Saturday if it's a day or something that she's needing off or something. But she does 5 days, 6-hour shifts, and typically it's from 8 to 2.
Dope. And Jeff, I can tell that you're running some stuff over there at Walmart when you start talking hours and saying words like flex, because you gave me a light flashback to when I was working 12-hour days at T-Mobile, man, and they would be hitting me up talking something about a flex day, and I needed to come into work, man. So yeah. I'm with you on that. So you get your VA rolling. They're making the calls from you. It sounds like you're implementing the concept that I teach inside the U, which is to have your caller or have your VA hand the call off to you as the closer.
Yes, sir.
Some people make the mistake. I've done this in the past. All right. So what we used to do is in that first phone call, we used to try to make the offer, try to close them, all those different things. We've now adjusted that, like I teach you guys in the coaching program, where those calls are being made. Sometimes we're not even making an offer on that initial call. A lot of times we're not even making an offer on that initial call. That initial call is used to gather information, to get as much information from the seller as possible, so the company decision maker, which is Jeff, can take that information and make a conscious decision on what his offer should be, and then properly present that to the seller on a handoff call. So do you want to maybe break out that process that you have? How you're doing it?
Yeah, so she gets started at 8 o'clock. Soon as she gets started, we got a Zoom meeting that's reoccurring Monday through Friday. First thing that we do, and I got this from you, is on the call, I asked her, I say, hey, so what were the highlights? What were the lowlights from the previous day?
Yep.
And I don't want to hear the same thing. I need her to be dialed in enough to be able to give me different things. And so after she does that, her and I both listen to a live call of hers in Mojo, and we literally talk through the call. And most of the time, the calls are good. This morning, the call was not good, and I felt a little bad because I kind of had to beat her up a little bit.
Sometimes you have to, yeah.
But it's some difficult conversations. But we literally talk about everything. That, hey, do you see how the seller got frustrated here? Here's what I think that you should have done that would have got a better response. And so, after I do that, we always pray at the end. I'm spiritual. I'm a Christian. So, we pray and I let her go for the reins, man.
I love this, man. I'm excited that you came on here, man. I'm enjoying this conversation. Guys, if you're enjoying this conversation, let me either see some U symbols or some gems in the comments, because Jeff is dropping some serious game for you guys right now. So show Jeff some love for all this information that he's handing out right now, for sure. So you got her on the phones. She's creating the deal opportunities or the lead opportunities. She's teeing that up, handing that off to you like we teach in you. So she's having that conversation, and then she's getting that over to you so that you can try to close that lead opportunity.
Yes,
so this particular deal, you guys make the call. You get her on the phone, the seller on the phone. It's driving for dollars.
Mm-hmm.
What's the seller like when you get on the phone with her originally?
So I can immediately tell that a lot of people have been blowing her up. And so, How could
you tell that? How could you tell that?
I can tell because of the way that she was responding. Before I was asking about a normal person is not going to know to walk down electric, plumbing, roofing, kitchen was last update. Like she running it down for me. Like she know, like she got a script.
Like she got the script. Yeah.
She like, right, he better ask me this next.
No doubt.
And so, I could tell she had been talking to other real estate investors. And so what I did, I'm a personable person. So one thing that you tell us to do is that we stick to the script, but you got to build rapport while you're doing it. You got to step out of it. And so like she may make a comment like, my son is in the back just driving me crazy. And I tell her about my daughter and say, I completely understand because my daughter drives me crazy sometimes, you know, and we'll laugh about it, but we getting back to the business. And so,
yeah. So this is a great gym too, man. I talk about this in the course. You guys that are in the U, go look at the cold call and script video. I talk about this and break this down in that video. So what Jeff is talking about is this is how I build rapport. You said we've got kind of similar styles. This isn't everybody's style. Some people are like really rapport heavy or no rapport at all. I'm kind of that in between. It sounds like you're a lot of the same. And what I mean with that is I want to build rapport, but I want to get to the money too. But I know that I got to build rapport with the person I'm speaking with. So I don't like to get stuck in rapport because a lot of times you can get into a conversation with the person trying to build rapport and it can go all the way to the other side of the world in terms of the conversation and stuff y'all talking. Next thing you know, you've been on the phone 45 minutes. You haven't even made an offer. So what I teach and what I practice, it's like boxing. You got to weave in and out of the rapport. The rapport is like throwing a jab. You got to weave in and out of it. And what I mean when I say weave in and out of it is you create the rapport, but then you also redirect back to the actual script or back to the conversation about the house itself. So guys, that's something you definitely should be implementing when you're having seller conversations. You know, like Jeff said, they're talking about the son in the background and acknowledge that, talk about your kid in the background, whatever the case might be. But then when you're closing your comment, bringing them back full circle to the point of the script that you were at, so that you can keep progressing the call forward. So she's a seasoned seller is what I think. Getting 10, 15 calls a day, postcards, text. She knows the drill. She get on the phone. But she wants to sell. Obviously, she wouldn't be on the phone telling you these things if she wanted to sell or she didn't want to sell. So she's telling you this stuff on the phone. How do you go to the point of making your offer? How did you formulate your offer to know what you wanted to offer to the seller at that time?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Our secret sauce is going off in the background. I'm sorry.
Hey, the nuclear code, man. Hey, that thing go crazy too, man. It go crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so I'm sorry. What was your question, Chris?
So my question is, how are you formulating your offer with the seller? You know, we got a lot of people that are always asking about comps. Yeah. So what was that like for you?
So before the U, I did the common thing that probably all wholesalers do, and that's the 70% rule, right? I like 70%. I know it. I know you hate it. And that's what I was doing before I got into your program. This deal actually came right. Like I was working on this deal when I joined your program.
Gotcha.
So what I did, I was like, man, so I did the as is comp method. And basically the as is comp method is you go after you qualify the property, you go and you find another property that is similar to that one. And you see what that property was sold for, and you back out your price from that, and that's your number.
Yep.
And so that's what I did that, but I was like, man, I want to see how comparable it is to the 70% rule too.
All right.
So I did the 70% rule. If I would have did the 70% rule, I wouldn't have got as much of a profit as I had got because the properties were not selling at 70% over there. If I did my math right, they were selling closer to about 80 because it was a better area of Little Rock.
No doubt. So let's touch on this real quick. All right. This is a huge conversation that I see all the time. If you guys are trying to understand the comp process I'm talking about, I have a video up on my YouTube channel that you can check out where I go over it. If you're one of my students in the coaching program, I think I got like 8 hours of videos just talking about comps where I go through this a dozen times and break it down. So guys, it's very simple. The 70% rule, I promise you, doesn't work. It works for cash buyers. That's who the 70% rule was created for, cash buyers. It got morphed into a thing for wholesalers. But again, we have so much data available at our fingertips. It is so simple and quick and easy to see what properties in the same or similar condition are trading for in a market. And by using this method, like Jeff mentioned, and this isn't talked about often enough, by using this method that I teach, you actually increase your profits because you're basing your offer and your sales price on what the properties are trading for now in real time. Not 6 months ago, not a year ago, not just marking it flat at 70%. Because people, depending on the reason people are buying in any given market, very well may be paying over 70%. Almost every deal is over 70% right now. So what happens when people are trying to focus on making offers based on 70% is you actually end up either doing one of two things, either leaving money on the table or leaving deals on the table, neither of which is fun. All right. So you make your offer, you use this process, you make your offer. Does she take the offer right away? Or how does that go?
Man, no. So she was wanting her price point was 85,000. I got that out of her. She wanted 85,000. The property could sell for 149,000 based off of the properties in the area. And so, I mean, she wanted 85, but from what she was telling me, I understood that it was a cosmetic update that needed to happen. So like the kitchens, the bathrooms, probably was going to have to do some painting, redo some of the floors. And so I knew that the 85 was too high. So I really needed to be at 75. Okay. And so I counted her at 75, and I can tell I lost her a little bit when I said that.
How can you? So,
because she said the famous saying that the sellers say when you lose them. Let me think about it.
Oh man, yeah. So that's the seller's go-to line, guys. All right, go-to line for sellers. Hey, let me think about it. You might have been talking to them for an hour and a half.
Yep.
Hey, you know what? Let me think. I gotta talk to my husband. My son is living in the house. Let me check with him. He said he was gonna buy it. Da. Guys, anytime you hear this, all right. Anytime you hear this, Jeff, what does that mean?
That means that the price is not what the seller wants.
Exactly correct, guys. And so, again, when the seller says this to you, that is the seller telling you that there's a problem with the price that you gave them. They just don't want to say that. Right? Most people don't like confrontation. They don't like going back and forth. That is the seller telling you that there's an issue for them with the price. So how did you respond to that? When they did that?
So one thing that you teach us is that we need to be aggressive, but we don't need to be desperate. Yeah. And so I realized that she told me, she was like, let me think about it. Call me back in a week. So I call her back in a week. I put it on my calendar. I follow up with her. I call her, and she's actually living with her mom. She has an autistic son.
Wow.
Yeah, and so she's home with mom for mom to help her out. So her mom answers the phone, talked to her for about 5 minutes. She said, I think she might be in a room. Let me go see. So I hear in the back
with the whole family.
I'm trying, man, you know. So she goes in and she tells her, and she says, hey, I don't feel like talking today. Tell them to call me back in 3 days. I'm like, all right, here we go. She jerking my chain. So I call her back 3 days later, and Chris, I was about to make one of the biggest mistakes that I think new wholesalers make, including myself.
Speak on it.
So I called a third time. Mom picks up the phone, and I know they're tired of me calling now because she was like, it's Jeff again. She said, it's Jeff again. And so then she was like, well, let me go see if she's in her room. So she goes. I literally hear them on the phone, Chris. She said, I don't feel like talking. Tell them I'm not here.
You heard this in the background.
I heard it in the background, bro. So the mom gets on the phone and tells me, she says, yeah, she's not here right now. Can you call back? I said, all right, yep, got you. Have a good day. So I hung the phone up. I removed her from my follow-ups. I removed her from my list. I was like, man, I don't got time.
Why did you do that? Was that out of frustration?
It was an emotional response.
So let's talk about that real fast, though. Yep. And so, and my students know that I talk about this all the time. It's very important in this business, even though it's not easy sometimes. It's very important when you're in this business to not let emotion affect how you interact with people.
Yeah.
We don't know what anybody's going through. We don't know what anybody's circumstances is. We don't know who just passed away. We don't know what their financial difficulty is. This lady's, sounds like she's a single mother. She's got an autistic child. She's got, her mom is having to take. She's probably stressed out. She's got a lot going on, obviously. So we just never know. But you had an emotional response, but you had to recover from that response at some point. How did you recover from that emotional handling of the situation?
Man, so I was actually, it was about 5 to 7 days later from that conversation. I was actually on the phone with the buyer of my first deal, and I was excited because they were telling me that they were going to purchase the property. I get a phone call from a number, and by this time I get so many phone calls, I'm like, oh, okay, they'll leave a message if it's important. So once I got off of the phone with my buyer, I listened to my voicemails. And in the voicemail, man, the voice of the seller was completely different than the voice.
The seller had called you back.
The seller called me back. And on the voicemail, it says something like, hey, Jeff, this is such and such and such and such. Hey, so I went by the property and I just completely got depressed looking at it. Like, I have to get out from under this property. Please call me back as soon as you get a chance. My number is blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
so what do you think made her say? Because she's getting contacts all the time. We already talked about that. What made her call you?
So when she went to the property was trash. The story is she hadn't been in the property in a couple of years. She hadn't lived there in 5 years.
Wow.
When she went in the property, Chris, when I say you couldn't see the floors because it had so much trash and dunnage, they had broke windows.
Oh,
people,
man.
People were living in the house and she doesn't even know who they were.
So it's a chaos situation. She pulls up in this. It ain't looking sweet, right? So now she's calling you motivated.
Yep.
And I want to point out she's calling Jeff also because Jeff had established the rapport.
Yeah.
He established a rapport with her. He even went as far as establishing rapport with her mother. So she gets out to the property. She goes out, takes a look at it, trash all over the floor, windows busted out. She's got squatters in the property. She says, man, I need to call Jeff about this 75 bands. I need to tap in with Jeff and see what's going on. All right. So she calls you back. What is she at? What's the asking price now? What is she? Where's that at?
So the asking price, I think I said 82,000 initially, but she really was at 85 now that I remember. She was at 85. She was like, I was like, listen, from what you're telling me, you wanted 85 for the property in the condition that you thought that it was in. You're telling me that the property is in a worse condition and that structurally we don't know what's wrong with it. I said, I just absolutely can't do 85,000. I said, the absolute best that I think I'll be able to do at this point will be around 82. I said, if I'm able to get my partners to agree to do 82,000, can we write the contract up today? She said, I really don't want to do 82,000, but if you can do that, then we'll write it up. So I put her on hold.
Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
So because you're at 75, she's at 82, so there's a difference there.
Yep.
Now, you use the as is method that I teach. What was your ceiling? What was the number you knew you couldn't go past because your fee couldn't get too low or whatever the case might be?
I couldn't go past 90,000.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so 90,000 was what the other house had sold for. Well, square footage wise, if I would have took that square feet, it would have sold for 90,000 in that.
So using it as this comp method, you knew, all right, I got a buyer I can sell this thing at 90.
Yep.
Got you. So you tell her, hey, listen, I need to be at 82.5. What made you not press her down even a little bit more than that?
Because I felt like I had by that time in that conversation, I let her know, hey, listen, I want you to get everything that you deserve from the property. That's a bar I got from you.
I see you've been watching videos, man. I love this.
I love that, man. They're like, oh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yes.
So I told her, I said, but listen, since I want you to get that, I'm willing to meet you at 82. However, if during our inspection, if we find anything that is outside of what you and I are discussing, I need you to be prepared to retrade the price. Is that fair? And she was like, that's fair. I said, okay.
Jeff, I know you were on the coaching call we had yesterday. Look, it's like I said yesterday on the call, guys. I give y'all all the coldest bars in the course, man. I give y'all the bars that are working right now in real time. Shout out to Jeff for just taking them word for word and using them.
Oh man, I'm gonna steal them shamelessly, coach.
Say it again.
I said I'm gonna steal them shamelessly, man.
Hey man, you got to, man. Them things work, man. Them things cold, man. So you get her to the price you want her to be at. You get her to the 82. And guys, what I actually love that you did here too, because I talk a lot in the group about not being greedy. What I like about what you did here is you could have got her down. You could have beat her down on the price a little bit more, I'm sure. But I love that line of, like I teach you guys, hey, I want to get you the best price possible. You deserve to get a great return on your investment. Guys, what that does is when you say that, it completely disarms the seller. Mm-hmm. But once you actually do it, so once you were offering 75, but now you say, look, I'll do the 82 because you deserve to get a great return on your property and make some money. Mm-hmm. Now you have that seller in the palm of your hand from that moment forward. Mm-hmm. So you get her to this point. How do you get her under contract? Y'all are on the phone. What's that process?
So I use DocuSign. While she was there on the phone, I did not want her to get off the phone because I knew if she got off the phone, it could potentially be that I couldn't get her back. So
yeah, you've already seen her personality. You've already seen her pull back and pull away. Yep. You got a fish on the hook. You got to reel that in.
Oh man. So I got on there. I typed it up, dropped it in DocuSign. Took me about 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah. She signed it. I signed it. This one was a pretty interesting one because I was actually going to Little Rock that weekend for my godson's first birthday. So I was excited because I've put a few properties under contract by that point, and I didn't get to walk any of them. So I was actually going to be the one that got to get to walk this one. So I was excited about that.
No, so you told moms and your mother-in-law, like, look, I got it, y'all. I'm gonna walk myself.
Yeah, I wanted to walk this one myself. I'm like, man, also this is how I feel is to be inside them.
Yeah, because you're on the desk. You work in the desk, right? You controlling the strings. So you get out there. What's the property walkthrough like? When you walk, because you heard it from her on the phone. What is it like for you when you go out there?
Man, Chris, when I opened the door, it smelled like a dead body was in there.
Oh man.
And like it was worse than what she told me. So automatically in my mind, I know we're gonna have to go back and retrade the price. I know it.
This sounds like one of those Little Rock first 48 houses. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know about banging in Little Rock. That was
yeah. I already know. It's real out there. No doubt. So you go back to her and say, look, we got to discuss the price.
Yeah. So I take her back. Actually, what happened? So I put the property under contract on a Thursday. Mm-hmm. I went to Little Rock on a Saturday. I walked this Saturday evening. I had it under contract with the same buyer I was talking to when she called me back the second time. So this buyer wanted to purchase this one on Sunday. And so I had established a good relationship with that buyer. Typically, I don't do this with buyers, but I give this buyer an inspection period. That's kind of like, and it's like a quick 48-hour inspection. And so the buyer had their contractors to go out and look at it. And the contractors came back. I'm thinking that it was going to be about $22,000 to $25,000 worth of repairs. Okay. Mm-hmm. They come back with $48,000. It's
a big difference.
It's a big difference. And so I took that. I said, buyer, I need that quote in order to be able to go back and negotiate with the seller. Smart. So I literally emailed them the quote. I wanted them to see that I'm not trying to make the price. Say what, coach?
You emailed the seller the quote.
Yes, I emailed them the quote.
Yeah, I want to point something out that you did here. It's important. Guys, when you have a property that you lock up over the phone, okay, and you go look at the property, one, Jeff did something that I teach that's extremely important. And that's setting the expectation with the seller up front that, hey, when I come to take a look at the property, I do want to be clear. I appreciate your time today and all the things that you explained to me about the property. As long as the property is in the condition that we discussed, Jeff, we won't have absolutely any problems whatsoever. But I do want to be clear because this is a business for me. This is how I take care of my family. Once I come out to take a look at the property, for whatever reason, you said there was an HVAC system and there's no HVAC system at all, or the roof hasn't been replaced in 30 years. I just want to be clear with you, Jeff, that I will have to discuss the price with you again at that time. because the repairs exceed the expectation of what we've discussed right now. And I've never had a seller not understand that when you say it.
Yep.
But again, it's about setting that expectation up front. Yep. All right. So Jeff, you set that expectation up front.
Yep.
You come back and you're telling the seller about this 48,000 in repairs. And what I like about this so much, all right, because I talk about this too, Jeff. You like Charles is saying, man, you implement everything. I love this right now. So it's like I say, man, if you got an estimate that shows the repairs, you want to put that in front of the buyers or the sellers so they can actually see why you need a reduction in price. And it also makes sense, guys, before you go for that price reduction, have a buyer in place.
Yep.
Have a buyer in place so that you know exactly where that buyer needs to be so that you can then create your margin in the conversation. All right. So you send this to her. She's not expecting it whatsoever.
And so I sent it. Yeah. And when I sent it to her, I called her. I was like, hey, so let's talk about this. And I needed to make her, I needed her to feel bad that she lied to me. I wanted to feel that. So I was like, hey, so you told me this, and this, but you see the quote, like you got a tree growing into the back of your roof that like it's in terrible condition. I was like, listen, I really want to make this work. Obviously I want to make this work. One thing that I didn't say that I also did, well, it actually happened after this. So I say it after we talked about the price. I told her, I said, what is the absolute best that you feel that you can do? Because I'm willing to kind of carve out our margins a little bit if you're willing to do it. Because at the end of the day, I want it to be a win-win for both of us.
Hey, look, you know, Jeff, I hear you with my win-win line too, man. I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
That win-win line hit, man. It hit.
Yeah, man. It hit different, bro.
Absolutely, man. So you hit her with the win-win line. Because what better to hear than, hey, listen, I'm looking, I want to create a win-win situation for the both of us. Hey, Miss Seller, I understand this isn't what you expected. This isn't what I expected either. I get it. I absolutely understand. But, you know, we kind of need to refigure things out here. Obviously, this is a variable we didn't consider. But I want to create a win-win situation for the both of us. That being considered, what is the best that you feel that you can do?
And guys, so go ahead.
Guys, the power in that statement, the power in that question is that you leave it open-ended for the seller. So instead of telling the seller where you need to be at, give them an opportunity to give you a price back, because it may be a bigger reduction than what you anticipated. And if it isn't, then you can always still use that to pull them down where you need them to be. So go ahead, Jeff. So what happens from there?
Yep. So she said she needed to sleep on it. By this time, she was actually picking up my phone call. So I was okay with that. And so I called her back the next day. She said that the lowest that they can do, they went down $7,000. And originally I was going to be making an $8,000 wholesale fee. So I shaved out $3,000, but I did that because my buyer told me what their all-in price was. Their all-in price was $111,000. So I got to doing the math, and they got to talking to me about risk because none of the utilities and everything were on. And so they were like, you know, we're talking about this quote, but we hadn't even looked at the HVAC. We don't know if the electricity is working. We don't know, you know, these different things. So I was like, well, let me work with the seller to see if I can get some of these things turned on so that I'm able to, you know, kind of alleviate your stress. And so go back to the seller, and I asked her, could she turn on her water? She was behind on her water bill.
Gotcha.
And so she didn't have enough money to pay for the water bill. She's living with her mom. She got an autistic son. I told her, so listen, this is what I'm going to do. She was $420 behind on her water bill. I paid that. But I typed up a new contract, and my contract said, it had a clause in there that said, this will be taken out of the purchase price. And if we do not happen to close on this property, you will refund this money in 48 hours.
I love it, Jeff. I like it, man. I like your style, my brother. I like your style. Yeah. So you get her to that point. She agrees. All right. And so you're smoothing up the process. What I like about everything that you're saying is that you had some adversity inside the transaction come up, but instead of running away from it, instead of saying, I can't figure it out, I don't know what to do, you just kept pushing it forward, and just failing forward and figuring it out.
Yeah.
So she finally agrees. Y'all get on the same page.
Yep.
All right. You get the reduction in the price. What do you reduce it down to?
So we reduced it. It was at 82. We got it down to 75 on her end, but I reduced 3,000 out of mine. So it was a total reduction for the buyer at $10,000.
Sick. I love it.
And so, but that wasn't it though, man. So the buyer is running contractors in and out of the property. It's a lockbox on it. And I get a picture the next morning after we retraded the price. And it's a picture of an electric outlet on the outside of the house. And Chris, the wires had been literally cut off of the house. And so they send me a picture of that and they're like, hey, I need you to look into this. Like, this is something major. I'm like, man, here we go again. So I'm trying to be a problem solver for my buyer because I want them to want to do business with me. So I go and I look up some electricians, some contractors. Mm-hmm. I have a contractor to come out to the property. They do a quote. Can you imagine? I was thinking it was going to be a couple hundred, maybe even 1,000 or something like that. I was just going to take it out of my wholesale fee, man. I was tired of this deal. It came back to be $9,500 that needed to be done to bring the property up to code. Jesus. So, man, by this time, Chris, I had probably had about 4 or 5 properties under contract with this one. I was like, listen, I'm gonna take this back to her. And I didn't feel bad about it or anything like that. I was like, I'm gonna present it to her, and if she want to sell, she's gonna do it. So I sent her the quote again. I'm like, listen. You told me that the electric was in good condition. This is $9,500. That's
Jeff, you've really been paying attention to what I've been saying and watching these videos, man. I'm really loving it right now because I talk so much in the course about you gotta, and I don't want to say set the seller up, but you got to get the seller, guys. That, like I say in those course script videos. The time that you take to talk with the seller about property condition and get information from them about property condition, you may potentially need it later. Mm-hmm. A clear example of having to do that, just like Jeff did, and then he needed it later. He needed to be able to say, "Hey, Miss Seller, you told me that the electrical was in good condition." Had Jeff never had her say that in the script when he was going over property condition, he wouldn't be able to say that to the seller and maybe wouldn't be able to get to the same spot. So guys, that's extremely, extremely important. If you're not doing that, if you're one of my students, you need to go back to the course script videos and really pay attention to that because I really break that down, but it's extremely important that you do that. So she gets that. And how does she respond?
Man, they were unarmed. They didn't have no ammo because that's what they told me. And I'm telling you factual data that's showing that you lied to me. And I let them know, I'm like, man, like I really want to make this work, but we absolutely cannot. This is a deal breaker at this point. So we got to either take this $9,500 out of your asking price, or we're going to have to walk away from the deal. I used the pullback method on that because I learned it right there. I needed to use the pullback method on it because I had done so much to try to get the deal going. She knew that I wanted the deal. But I needed her to know that I wanted the deal so much that if it didn't work, I would be willing to walk away.
Yeah, so let's talk about that real quick too, Jeff. Jeff, I'm really loving this, man. You took all the gems from the course, man, and you really just out here getting busy, crossing people up on the court. Yeah, so talk about that pullback method, man. That's one of my favorite moves right there. Talk about the pullback method a little bit.
Okay, so the pullback method is basically when you got a seller, and the seller is kind of either being reserved, the seller is being maybe even aggressive, like telling you that they don't need you. You basically say, hey, I can completely understand if you do not want to do this deal. I may not be your buyer. We want to do this deal, but if it doesn't work for you, I think that it would be your best bet to try to find another buyer that work for you, and we will wish you well in that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I love it, man. I talk about the pullback method a lot. Just stepping in with the seller and just saying, hey, Jeff, you know what? I get it. I understand. I know we got to this point, but maybe I'm not the right buyer for you. So she flips gears back. Jeff, wait. Right.
Yep, that's what she did.
So y'all get back on the same page.
Yep.
So where does the deal kind of go from there?
Man, she dropped that 9,500 because she wanted the deal to be done. She told me on our first conversation that she could not go below 85,000. We purchased the property at $65,000. We ended up getting the property for 65,000. That's what the final.
You went down from 85. You got this thing down to 65,000. Just using the script.
Yep.
Just using the bars in the script. So then you get a buyer. What does your buyer buy it from you at?
My buyer bought it for me at, so we got it at 65. They bought it at 70.
Dope. So they buy it from you at 70. What do you end up netting out on this right now?
It was like 4,500 and some change because I split the closing costs with them.
Dope. So one of the things that I like about what you're saying too, because I talk about this a lot, is not to be greedy inside the deal. Like, get what you can get from the deal and keep moving. So I'm sure a conversation came up. They asked you about closing costs. You say, hey, look, I'll take care of the closing costs. Like, let's get this thing closed. The closing costs are $500.
Yeah, I'm not about to go back and forth about $500 if I'm about to make 4,500. I'm not about to do that.
No doubt about it, man. So that's awesome. So you end up making $4,500. How long was it from getting the deal under contract to closing?
So got it.
Answer it a different way, Jeff. I'm sorry.
Okay.
How long was it from talking to the seller initially, your VA, to closing?
So total life cycle, I say probably was about 6 weeks from when my VA first talked to her until when we ended up closing on the deal.
Awesome, man. That's dope, man. So six weeks, you make $4,500.
Yep.
What'd you do with the $4,500?
Oh man, I put that back into my business. I'm not taking a dime.
Jeff, you saying all the right things tonight, man. Saying all the right
I'm not taking a dime. Hey, that's a real talk though. Me and my wife was talking about it yesterday. I had 2 deals that closed last week. It was that one, and then it was another one that was for it ended up being like $4,000.
And then so 10 hitting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah. And so we're not taking any of that. We're putting that back into our business. I want to scale the business. I want to be able to manage people, not manage the processes. I want folks to manage the process.
I love it, man. Listen, you're going to do great things in this business, man. I'm extremely proud of you. I'm really happy to have you as a student and be a small part of your journey, man, and what you're doing here. You're going to do amazing things. You're touching somebody right now and motivating somebody that's watching this right now. So thank you for sharing some best practices, some of these tips that you've picked up. And, thank you for being in the program and then taking that game and actually implementing it the exact way I'm giving it to you.
Yeah.
I try to break things down for my students to a macro, simple level where it's not complicated. Hey, do this. Hey, do that. You're going to win. Jeff, you're an example of that. So big boss salute to you, man. What I want to do is let's open this up for some questions before we get out of here.
Okay.
So who has questions for Jeff or myself? I'll look in the comments as well. Did you train the VA? So we talked about that a little bit earlier. Did the VA come to you already trained, or you hadn't trained them from the beginning?
Nope. So she didn't come trained. She had probably about 4 months of cold calling experience. So the first call, it was about a 3-hour call, and I walked her through what we do, what our company is, what her part would be, and we did some mock. Actually, in her interview, the second interview, we did like a mock call, like where I was the seller and she was the cold caller. And so in
your interview process.
In the interview process, that was the second interview. Nice. And so in each day, I spent about 30 minutes with her, And in that 30 minutes, we talk about previous calls, we talk about wins, we talk about losses. And it's going over very well. From when she was hired, this was one of her deals. She's got me over 3 deals that we've closed. She just started in September.
Awesome. I love this, man. This is a good question Delvin has. So how soon did you get your VA?
So I started taking action back in July, and we got our VA in September. The only reason why I got the VA, I don't want it to be a misconception. I don't want anybody to think I'm saying to get a VA because you don't want a cold call. That's not what it was. I just didn't have the capacity to get on the phones as much as I needed to. So I tried my best to train the person to be, I guess, as good as I feel that I am. And, and kind of be an extension of myself.
No doubt, man. You definitely done a great job with that, for sure, man. This is a good question. Shout out to Ashley, you fam. So what's your monthly marketing budget currently? You've got 3 deals. You've got, what, 28,000 or 18,000 closing? For the month.
18,000. Yep.
Yeah.
So let me see.
This month, what's your monthly budget?
So I track it. So right now, and this is not my fix. Like, this is not the fixed expenses, but like, I'm right now, as of today, I'm at $1,275.
So you spent $1,275 to make 18,000. Am I hearing this right?
Yes, sir. That's it.
Hey, listen, anywhere in the world, that's a phenomenal return. That's a phenomenal return. $1,200 that he's put into his business. And in return, that's got him 3 deals this month. He's made $1,800. And guys, Jeff has said it himself. He's taken the exact steps that I'm giving you guys, step by step. And he's simply just taken that and implemented as it's been given, is what it sounds like. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
I love it, man. I love it. Let's answer some of these questions folks got.
Okay.
Are y'all using PropStream to find what similar properties are trading for in real time? Yeah, absolutely. So if you need PropStream, 7-day free trial, go to chargedupdata.com. You absolutely want that. You're going to be able to look at comps on the fly. The mobile app is crazy. The desktop version is crazy. You definitely want to make sure that you have that. Let's see what else we got. I know I saw something. Let me see. Did you just contact the title company and see if the property is free and clear?
Do you just contact? So my go-to lists are high
equity.
High equity. So usually with high equity, they're close to being free to clear, free to clear, and I also do free and clear as well. So I don't contact the title company to see if the
property's free and clear.
Yeah,
we don't do that either. You're just trying to work on an asking or a purchase price.
Yeah.
However, when you do a title search, once you send the contract to the title company, they will return back and let you know whether or not the property is free and clear. Now, if you guys have PropStream, all right, PropStream has a mortgage section in PropStream that will let you know if the property is free and clear or if it has any lien. So, I definitely can't stress enough how important having PropStream absolutely is. All right. So let's see. I've been piling up distressed homes from a bunch of markets on PropStream and intend on calling and texting them. I just randomly search cities with the filter. Is that too wide of a net? Jeff, what's your thought?
Yeah. So anything that you do, man, you want to move as strategic as possible.
Yes.
Because if you're going after things and like you said, your net is too wide, you're gonna be chasing your tail. And then you're gonna get frustrated, and then you're gonna feel like wholesaling doesn't work.
Absolutely.
So I think that you should be very strategic as to how you move and what markets you're going after.
Yeah, I agree with this 110%. You want to isolate down to one specific market, get some traction in that market first, then go ahead and jump into a different market. It sounds like you're trying to do a shotgun blast here to try to get some action going and trying to be in a bunch of different places at one time. I don't suggest that whatsoever. You don't want to shoot shotguns. You want to shoot sniper rifles. All right. Let's see. Good question here. So did you practice all the scripts to become efficient, or did you trip a few times because you killed it?
Thank you, man. Man, I be in the car. Folks probably be thinking I'm crazy, man. I be going through the script and I be answering myself. You know, I ain't crazy, but I be answering myself. I be like, dang, so what if I said that? And then I come back with something else. So yeah, I do practice. But I trip too. I trip up as well, man. I say some things and I do some things that I be like, I probably shouldn't have done that, but I take note of that and I try to learn from it. So in the future, I'm better.
That's awesome, man. When you get sign off on your deals, do you sign with your personal name or with your business?
So my first 2 deals, I did them in my personal name. My deals from there, I've done them in my business.
Awesome, man. How long did it take you to get your first deal?
I took action in July, and I closed my first deal in September.
Awesome, man. Awesome. How many have you closed since?
6.
That's dope, man. Congratulations on that. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Shout out to Big Sarge, man. Sarge active. You know how Sarge get now, man. When he sees somebody in the group active, man, in the U family, he ready to get busy with you. I love
Sarge, let's do it, man. Let's do it. I'm excited, man.
So Sarge got that energy, man. Do you still have your family, your mom and mother-in-law? You still got them driving for dollars?
Yeah, man. My mom sends me. That's my dog, and she's on too.
Hey, shout out to moms, man. You got a great son, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Coach. But my mom, every week, she's sending me leads after leads after leads. And this last weekend was the first weekend she hadn't been able to send them to me. And this show you how committed she is. She calls me. She said, "Hey, son, I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to send you some, but I'm going to make up for it next week."
Oh, that's crazy. How does it feel, man, having your mom in your corner like that in a new opportunity, a new thing that you're trying to accomplish, trying to get done? You've done 7 deals. I'm sorry. I mean, you're doing the thing, man. How does it feel to have your mom behind you like that, supporting what you're doing? Your wife, mother-in-law, stuff like that.
Man, my mom has always supported me, and so she is a tribute to who I am today. My wife has always supported me, and so to have their buy-in is amazing, you know. But it also lets me know I got people that's depending on me, so I really got to grind. I can't play around.
Ain't no time for no games, man. We got to go out here and we got to get it every day. Got mouths to feed, people to take care of, man. No doubt. We got a good question here. So, are you still using batch leads for SMS and skip tracing?
So I can't say what I'm using for SMS right now.
Yeah.
But when I tell you it's fire, it's fire. Since I've been on here, if y'all see me looking at my other screen, it's because I'm getting responses. So no, I'm not using batch leads for SMS right now, but I do still use them for skip tracing.
Yeah, and listen, and shout out to Bash for SMS as well. Shout out to my guy Jesse over there, man. That's the family. But we got an in-house, charged up tool that we're using currently that has not. We haven't really put it out to the public yet.
Yeah.
But my students, if you're one of my students, I don't want you saying it in the comments. We ain't doing all that tonight. Let's keep the nuclear launch codes in the pocket. And when we got to launch the missile, we'll launch the missile. But so Jeff is using that charged up special right now, and he's out here going crazy with it.
Hey, Coach, and not for nothing, the charged up special, that's what the deal I'm closing on tomorrow, that's what it came from.
Look, salute, man. Salute. I love that, man. Yeah. I love it. Have you ever had to put down any EMD?
Man, I put down $1 on every contract. I just, and most of the time when I put down $1, they don't even want it. They're like, I don't want that. I want that money in 30 days.
No doubt. So focus in 5 counties.
So I focus on zip codes. And so whatever the zip codes are, I have a cutoff. And whatever, let's say if it drops from 10,000 deals to 4,000, that's going to be my cutoff. And I'm going to mark it for that month, or maybe even for 60 days, I'm going to mark it to those zip codes.
Awesome, man. Have you ever closed on a probate lead?
I actually got a probate one that I'm working on right now. I'm hoping to lock it up to next week. And that's actually, that'll be my second deal here in Dallas. So that is one that I'm working on right now.
Awesome, man. Let me ask you a question, man. Before I pull up another question, I like what you're doing, man. You're pressing hard. You're making things happen. You're doing all this while working a full-time job still. All right.
Yeah.
What's your 2021 goal, man? I know you talked about.
Man, it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So financially, when we first started this, me and my wife was like, man, it'd be great to make $50,000, like just make extra 50,000. Then we was like, it'd be great to make $100,000. Then we was like, it'd be great to make $200,000 in a year. You know, just doing this, that keeps on going. So the financial goal is to clear $150,000 in wholesale fees in 12 months. I have one cold caller right now. My intent is for over the next 6 months, I want to onboard 2 more cold callers. Right now, I'm handling acquisition and disposition. So by this time next year, I would like to have my first cold caller. I would like to promote her to an acquisitions manager.
I love it.
Yeah. And so ultimately right now it's 2 of us that's in the operation. This time next year, I'd like for it to be about 4 to 5 of us. And a couple bands behind that.
No doubt, man. I love it, man. You know, we're gonna be here to support you at the U.
Yeah.
And keep pushing you forward, man. That's amazing.
I'm hitting up Andrea for my next call callers.
Hey, I got my VAs from her, man.
Yeah.
Best VAs I've ever had, man. Shout out to Integrity Freelancing and Staffing. She's definitely got some VAs that are dope. She's also a U member, so you know, definitely holler at her, guys, if you need some VAs. How many calls are you making per week with your VA? Good question.
My VA makes about 450 calls a day, and that's 5 times a week.
Yeah. Now, quick question. So this might just be only for the U students. So, you know, using our secret weapon. All right. Do you have your VA working that and picking the phone? Are they just working the phones and you're working on the secret weapon?
Yeah, that secret weapon, man. That's some top secret. I don't trust nobody with that right now.
Yeah. That's why we call them the launch codes, man. That's why we call them launch codes. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm tuned into that. That's what I'm tapped in on.
No doubt, man. No doubt. How much does it cost to get a contractor to inspect? I think you said the buyer paid for it. I'm not sure, but
I actually paid for it. It was $75.
So $75. Contractor went out, gave you an estimate for $48,000 that you were able to take and use with the seller to get them down $20,000 in price, so that you can make $4,000.
So the buyer, the original quote came from their contractor. They paid for that. The final one with the electric thing, I paid for their contractor to go out there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they pay for their own stuff. I'm not. They inspect. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. So how many leads should you contact a month to get a deal? I'm gonna let you answer this first, Jeff, and I'm gonna answer this.
Man, that's a taboo question. Because if I was to give a number, once you get to that number, if you don't have a deal, then you're gonna psych yourself out. So you gotta contact the number of people until you get your first deal. That's the answer. You gotta keep on dialing.
100%. That's exactly what I was gonna say. However many it takes to get a deal. Yeah. That's how many contacts you should be contacting a month. 100%. Great answer on that, Jeff. How does your mom send you deals? I know you mentioned she draws for dollars. Is she loading these into your deal machine app, or how is she doing that?
Man, she writes them on a sheet of paper and she sends them over to me.
Mom's keeping it old school. I love it.
Yeah, man. She old school with it, and that's cool.
I'm not doing deal machine. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Have you utilized a realtor for the MLS?
Absolutely not.
Guys, we got PropStream. We don't need MLS. If you got PropStream, there's literally no need for you to have the MLS. I'm telling you, go get the free trial. Look in the description if you don't have it. Go to chargedupdata.com. You got to pick up PropStream, man. How often do you come up with your offer? How do you come up with your offer if no as-is cash comps are on PropStream?
So if there are no as-is comps, then I use the 70%, and I do it to my best of ability.
There you go. There you go. How do you stand out when the seller is receiving several calls and many offers?
So it's kind of your style, man. I try to be smooth on the phones. I try to I try to do that. I try to be personable. And so whenever I'm talking with a seller, if I feel like I'm not the right person for it, I tell them that. Yep. And sometimes they'll be like, okay, well, no, wait a minute, let's see. And other times they'll be like, you right, and they hang up. Either way, it's a win because
Go. You gonna say something else?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a win because either I don't need to be talking to you or I do need to be talking to you. The task is accomplished.
Yeah, guys, when you do this, you're filtering out the seller on the phone to see if they're motivated or not. The pullback method is so great because you're telling the seller, like, look, I really do this, man. Jeff, I don't have time to go back and forth with you. I may not be the right seller for you. I definitely understand that. I'm always looking to buy property. I'm always in the market. If something changes for you in the future, let me know. But if not, look, I hope you get the price that you're looking for. Guys, you have no idea how much that will incentivize a seller to want to reach back to kind of. Jeff did it in this deal that we went through tonight, right? And that seller call him back. And the beautiful thing about the pullback method is if it backfires, then you can just call the seller or have somebody else call the seller from a different number. Go partner in JV with somebody else on the deal. You already know that there's some level of motivation there. You kick it to somebody else that you know in your market and have them start to work it as well, man. So great work there. Let's see, man. I see some of the U family here, man.
You fam make me feel like Jordan right now.
Hey, listen, man. That's why I love the U family, man. That's why I absolutely love the U family, man. I'm in California. Is it best that I work for a buyer because I don't have a car?
So if I understand the question correctly, you're saying you don't have a car to be able to go to the property. So should you work for somebody else? If that's what you're asking, I would say absolutely not. Because out of I've only been in 2 of the properties that I've wholesaled. You don't need a car. All you need is hard work, dedication, and consistency. Yep. And you can make a lot of money.
I agree. And here's the reality, Miss Pat. So what you can do is you can source the lead, source the opportunity, and partner with somebody who does have a vehicle that is boots on the ground and has experience in the market you're working, and then have them take care of what you can't do because you don't have a vehicle right now, and partner with them and get paid. Elvin Green, I'll stamp you in Dallas. I don't know where Forney is, but I'm sure you
know. Elvin. So I work in Terrell. I'm in my office right now. Forney, I drive through Forney to get home. Man, that's crazy. It's a small world.
It is, man. It absolutely is. Gadisa, I got to get to work. Yo, shout out to Gadisa. Yeah, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. You got to get active. You got to get to work. Yep. So you've been doing this for 5 months.
Yep.
Man, how does it feel? Because, and I talk about this a lot because it's important. This is another great example of just taking the action. Jeff doesn't know everything. He hasn't figured out everything yet. But what I hear and what I see from watching him on the weekly calls inside the group and watching him inside the post, the chat, in this conversation tonight, is that you're constantly absorbing the information and then implementing the information. If it doesn't work out for you, you figure that out and you keep pushing it forward. And that's what it's really, really about, guys. So many people have sat on the sidelines, have not done their first deal yet, have not gotten active yet, because you're trying to figure stuff out that you may or may not figure out, but you don't have a real life situation. You want to go get active and really start to get busy with what you're doing.
Yep.
Who is the man? Who is the man with the master plan? Jeff. Nah, Jeff definitely got it, man. Definitely got it. I don't know who Facebook user is. They got the eyes on the secret weapon. Look, if you're not a student right now, you can't get your hand on the secret weapon, man. We're keeping that in-house. I want to make sure, I said this from the beginning when we dropped the secret weapon, I want to make sure that my students get an opportunity to really get familiar with it, get some understanding with it, so they can have it dialed in and rolling before I put it out publicly, which will be happening in the future. But for right now, making sure my students are good.
Coach, I don't think you should put it out, man. That's just
fun. Listen, we gotta get it out there. We gotta get it out there for the people. But we'll say this: we gotta get it out there for the people. However, as long as you're students of mine, you always will be in a better position with not only that top secret weapon, but with everything inside of this business in general, 110%.
Yep.
Let me see what else we got. Let's see what else we got. Pop the artist. How much does it cost for you? Listen, go on Instagram or go underneath this video after it posts. Click on the link about joining the U, and they'll have all that information for you right there. You can check it out. If you decide to join the U family, man, we'd be happy to have you and support you in your business and be a part of your success. How do you stand out when seller is receiving several calls and many offers? I think we answered that.
Yeah, answer that one.
Let me see. All right, they're going off. Hold on.
I can't see the comments.
Oh, you can't?
No, I can't. I can only see the screen here.
Okay, all right. So are you able to assign distressed homes listed by a realtor?
So I don't work with realtors because we're direct to sellers. So I can't yet. You can assign anything, but usually a realtor is going to want to use their contract from what I understand.
That's absolutely correct. Have you marketed any of your properties under contract on Facebook Marketplace?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. My deal that I did in Dallas, it was a $17,000 spread, and I got my buyer from Facebook Marketplace.
I love it, man. Facebook Marketplace. I talk about that in the group, man. That's a missile right there.
Yep.
How are you finding your buyers? We just mentioned Facebook Marketplace. Yep. Are you utilizing anything else to find those?
So I do source my buyers through the database as well. I look to see who's buying in the zip codes, and I reach out. I send them a message. But the majority, I also work off of Craigslist. So the majority of my buyers, honestly, have come from the real estate investment groups on Facebook, though.
Dope. Yeah. Do you get good deals in low income areas?
So here's the thing about low income areas that I've run into. You want to talk to some gutter folks, man. If you wanna be cursed out all day, go get you some low income lists. So you can find good deals everywhere, but I wouldn't target it. I wouldn't correlate low income with the good deal. I would correlate the zip codes that has the action. And if that is a low income area, then that's a place that you would go after.
No doubt. Are you using any CRM right now to track KPIs or anything like that?
Yeah, the secret weapon.
All right. Yeah. I figured.
Yeah.
You can do everything inside the secret weapon, man. If you're not a student, man, to be honest, man, joining the U just for the secret weapon.
Yeah. That's a bendy, as you say, Coach. For
that's
real.
A fact, man. Yes. Aside from all the crazy game I give out, the hours and hours and hours worth of content and videos that you get as a member, the secret weapon, man, it's such a missile, man. It's such a missile. That's all I'm gonna say. Have you done any creative financing deals at all?
So my Dallas deal, it was gonna be that deal was I got it under contract at $418. I sold it to a buyer for $434, and so he was gonna use his hard money lender. Things started with the appraisal and it didn't work out. The seller ended up owner financing it for the buyer.
Nice, that's dope. Yeah, that's dope. Have you ever agreed on a price with the seller over the phone, and once you send the contract, they stop responding?
Yeah, I've had that happen several times.
Yeah, it happens all the time, Javon. You got to just follow up and try to get back in contact with that seller. How do you handle a deal that's supposed to close, buyer and everyone is ready, but haven't received any follow-up from attorney office on a closing date?
Man, so let me tell you, whenever I send a deal to a title company, I'm going to call them as much as I want to call them, and I don't care if I'm on their nerves. So when I first send it, I check in every week. The last couple weeks, usually I do a 30-day close. The last 2 weeks, I'm checking in twice a week. So I'm understanding the status of what's going on with those deals before I get to the date, because I don't want any surprises. They probably get so tired of hearing me, but I'm bringing business to them, and I'm a customer to them.
You're paying them money. Yeah, right. I agree with Jeff 110%. guys, you should be checking on your files twice a week at a minimum. All right. With your title company and what the status is. Just to be straight up with you, if you have files at a title company and you are not checking on them, these title companies, attorneys' offices are working on so many different files. You will not hear from them until like the day before closing if you do not touch base with them about your stuff. Are you texting more or cold calling to get a deal?
So I only cold call a couple times a week. So I'm not cold calling at all, but I do text and I do drop RVMs.
No doubt. I love it. I love it. I'll post the link. Pop-up artist is asking again. So you know that tells me he's hungry to get inside the U fam. So I'm putting it in the comment box. Anybody watching right now, I'm putting in the comment box the link that you can go to join my coaching program if you want to do that. And if you're watching this later, once it's not live, look in the description of this video. You can click on it and you can join there. Jeff, tell them how real the U is, man.
Man, let me tell you how the U is a blessing. It's a blessing. Right before I joined the U, I was watching a podcast from what's TTP guy, Brent Daniels.
Shout out to Brent.
Yeah, real great guy. I was watching one of his podcasts, and there was a guy on his podcast that had only been in the market for like 8 months, but he had cleared like $1.5 million. Well, man, I reached out to the guy on Facebook and I was like, listen, you know, do you do any coaching? Do you do anything like that? The coaching that he said that I needed to pay him $5,000 before we even had any other. And so when you got somebody like Chris that is active in our group, that is responding to questions that we're asking like all throughout the day and interactive, man, for the price that we're paying, I don't understand why we even like you could get way more from us, but you don't, and we appreciate that. So we try to make you proud by doing the things that you tell us to do.
Man, I love to see it, man. I priced it the way that I priced it, specifically because I wanted to give people a fair shot, a clear opportunity to really get into the business, man. When I started over 10 years ago, I had nothing like the U. I didn't have access to anything like that. I had to fail many times to get it figured out and be able to grow and scale my business. And so it was important to me to create something where people could really take advantage of it, really take the information and implement it in a real way. And so I priced it the way that I priced it because I want you guys to have as much money as possible for your marketing budgets and actually be able to do deals. And I want to be a part of y'all's growth. And eventually you guys will become one-on-one students and stuff like that, and will help you grow and grow your business from there. But when you're starting out trying to get a couple of deals, I want to be a part of that success. You know how many hours of videos we got sitting inside. It's a lot of information in there, but if you take it, implement it, and put it to work, you guys are looking at Jeff, and he's done just that. And you've seen what that's been able to do for him. Chris, I watched your video on probate records yesterday. Going to the courthouse early in the morning. Yeah, salute. Yeah, absolutely do that. Yeah, probates is definitely a great marketing spot. How much is your membership? Click on the link. I put it in the comments. If somebody else can help me and post it there as well, go check it out on that link. The U is the best. Sophia, thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you for being a member. And thank you for taking care of my guy Bam down there. And Carolina, I know he's dealing with the COVID. So make sure my guy Wavy Bam is good to go down there as well. Boom, Charles, yo, we going crazy, man. We going up, man. It's about to get real crazy.
Charles, congratulations, brother.
Yeah, shout out to Charles, man. Just got another seller to agree to seller finance with the secret weapon. Yeah, we snapping, man. The U family is going crazy, man. Did you get your cash buyers off PropStream? So no, he got the cash buyer somewhere else. Yeah, so I mean, you can definitely bigger pockets get cash buyers on PropStream 110%. Do I buy properties in DC? If it's a good deal, if it makes sense, send it to me. I'll be happy to take a look at it and see if it's something I can do something with. Roderica, I see for all my questions, I have to join the U. So Roderica, I think the only question you're asking is about the secret weapon. I've got over 400 something students. My responsibility is always going to be to them first. I want to be a part of their success, like I said. So I think what I've seen you ask, unless I've missed it, if I missed it, I apologize. But what I've seen you ask is, what is the secret weapon? And out of respect to my word and my commitment to my students, I've already told them I'm not going to be giving that out right this very second. It will come out in the near future. But for right now, I'm focused on making sure they understand it and are able to use it. I mean, that being said, you definitely should join the U. If it makes sense for you, check out the link. If it doesn't, I'll be talking about it publicly sometime in the near future, and you'll definitely have an opportunity to check out the secret weapon as well.
Yeah.
No, facts. I didn't even click on this comment after I said that, but look, I told Jeff, you heard me on the weekly call. I told him, I said, listen, if you don't get the secret weapon before I put it out publicly, it's on you. I can't do nothing to help you. I told you to go get it. I told you I moved my whole business over to this. Told you exactly what to do, just like Jeff has been doing, Charles has been doing, I know Ashley is doing. Look, if you don't do it, we'll catch you at the back end. The launch code. Everybody wants those launch codes, man. Everybody wants the launch codes, man. Everybody wants the launch codes. Shout out to Claude. No doubt, man. You definitely want to check it out. We put a great program together that's helping a lot of people have some success and make some different things happen. So you definitely want to check it out. Guys, here's the link right here. If you want to join the coaching program or check it out, get some more information, you can go right here to check it out.
That's for real.
John, respect. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Let me see what else we got. If you don't get an answer on a hot lead, you switch number to try to reach them. Absolutely should do that.
Yes, sir.
How did you find your escrow company or lawyer is willing to work with you?
So I waited until I got my first deal. And once I got my first deal, I called around. I literally Googled. I actually got on Google, and I Googled, title companies in Little Rock, and I just started calling people. And so I asked them, I said, hey, do y'all do wholesale? They say, nope, click up, next person.
No doubt. I love it. Let's see what else we got. Shout out to Law Clerk on Demand, Deanna. See you in here, doing a lot of great things. And, the probate game that she gives out, absolutely insane, man. Make sure you guys follow Law Clerk on Demand. Bigger Pockets, my guy, Bigger Pockets in the federal pen right now, checking in every single week on the contraband. I love it, man. I love to see it. I love to see people hungry and ready to go. Claude, salute, man. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family.
Yeah, man.
No doubt, man. I love y'all. I love y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. My guy said, shout out to Bigger Pockets. My guy said he locked up. Nobody got time like he got time, man.
Family, that's all you got, man.
No doubt, man. He gonna come out a monster. He gonna come out of there. He gonna have all the bars memorized, man. He gonna come out of that joint going crazy. Hey, look, shout out to all the love, man. I appreciate y'all. Vivian, I see you in here. Much respect. I appreciate you. Really appreciate that. 110%. Let's see what else we got. My man Bam done dropped in. I see him in here as well. Let's see. If you have PropStream before you sign up for your membership, when you sign up, do you get PropStream? No, I don't own PropStream or anything like that. PropStream is not included in my coaching membership. That's if I own PropStream, I probably would be doing this YouTube from some island that I owned in the South Pacific. All right. Shout out to whoever owns PropStream. They're making a crazy amount of money right now. But you can go to chargedupdata.com and check it out, or click a link in the description if you need a free trial so you can try out what we're talking about tonight. Would y'all recommend the absolute hottest zip codes on List Source when first starting?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that. Go ahead.
Now, I was saying that's the best use of your time.
No doubt. Absolutely. Is it red flag if a seller is adamant about using their own attorney instead of your title company to close? This is a really good question. What is your thought, Joe?
I wouldn't let it stop me from doing a deal. Yeah, if they want to use their own attorney or title company, I need to speak with them first so that I can introduce myself, so I can understand that we're in good hands. But after that, they can do their thing.
No question. Anthony Russell, been away for a while. Is a secret weapon in the Dropbox link? No, the secret weapon is inside of the band group. You can go inside the group, make a post, and we'll get you that information and make sure you have it if you don't have it right now. But go make a post.
If you don't know, we've been talking about it like crazy.
I know. So Anthony, listen, you better tap in, and get on the vibes, man. Get on the vibes. Catfish sandwich. First of all, shout out to
I love that name.
I love this name too, man. First of all, shout out to Catfish. I see Catfish watch my videos, commenting. I see you on the lives. Much respect. Thank you for supporting. Everybody is selling a course now. I'm still on the fence. Who should I give my money to? Whoever resonates with you, man. Whoever resonates with you, you feel like can help you and be successful, help you in part of your journey, man. There's a lot of great people out here that coach on real estate, not just me. My program isn't the only program that is good or is that's available. Check them out, man. See what programs make sense for you, and go with your gut. Make that decision. And either way, man, you're going to be successful if you put in the work, regardless of who you go with. I'd argue that I'd be willing to put my students' success up against anybody else in the industry. I definitely would be willing to do that. I know how many people that I've helped do their first deal. I know how many people I've helped scale their business, overcome their fears. Fire their 9-to-5 and start to do real estate full time. But check people out, man. Check people out. See who makes sense for you, and whoever that person is, man, go with their program.
Coach, you breed killers, man.
Oh, you already know, man. Listen, because I'm a killer. Yeah. And that's the thing people don't understand. I really do this, man. This ain't no cap situation. I really do this, and so when you really do it, you can really understand how to break things down for people so they can fully understand it and grasp it and put it into action, man. Do you double close your deals?
Nope, I don't.
The straight assignments. So I do some double closes. I don't do them very frequently anymore. We used to do them a lot. However, if you got to double close, you double close. But my guy, Bam, I got 3 strong leads today, coach. My guy calling with COVID. He's making phone calls with COVID. Bam, I love it, man. Keep grinding, keep working. Like I told you, make sure to give your body some rest when you need it. Don't make me call Sophia, man, and get her to get on your back. All right, so that we make sure that you're good. We need you in the U back fast. All right.
I'm getting them vid leads.
Yeah. COVID-19 lead, man. I'm curious too, how many great employees got tired of their W-2, joined the U, and left. The U starting businesses and changing family trees, man. Yeah, 100%, man. That's the whole goal, man. That's the whole goal is to change people's family trees, man. Your lineage, help people start businesses. Actually, help people not just see the U is not about just doing a deal.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be real clear about that. The U is not just about doing a deal. It's about learning how to actually start and run an actual real estate business. One of the first modules that we have is how to set up an LLC.
Yep.
Right. The reason I put that in there is I didn't see it in any other program before. People ask that question over and over and over. So I want to be intentional about showing people, again, how you actually set up an actual company and a business, not just fly by the seat of your pants and just do random deals here and there and that kind of thing. I see Die Acquisitions. Shout out to her. Catfish. Look, you got 70 people on here telling you which coach to invest your money with. Yeah, we're going to leave it at that, man. Shout out to Die. All right, I see the family is in here real heavy tonight, Jeff. They in here real heavy. They're real heavy.
We tough.
No doubt about it, man. Listen, Jeff, we love the humbleness in game. 50,000, nope. 100,000, nope. 150,000 in 12 months. Keep up the great work, man. Shout out to Sarge, man.
Appreciate that, bro.
Shout out to Sarge. Eric Dorsey had to leave the U a few months ago to prepare for my new baby. Now it's back to the grind. Can I rejoin? Y'all still dropping gems on every video. Eric, man, first of all, congratulations on a newborn, man. That's a blessing. So congratulations to you on that, my brother. You can absolutely rejoin, man. If you've been in a U and you want to rejoin, you had to leave for whatever reason. It's all love, man. Just hit us up. Shoot us an email, man. We'll get you back active and we'll get you back to work, man. You got a new baby you got to take care of, man. And you got to provide some purpose and show that new baby the way, man. So absolutely.
Ron went back. You can come back, man.
No doubt. Claude, are you only pulling leads from PropStream, Jeff?
I pull leads from various places. I not only do I use that, but I use ListSource.
Yeah.
My latest and greatest is charged up list.
Hey,
and
man.
So,
yeah.
I got that.
It is a missile right there.
Yeah, I'm working on that 60 plus absentee right now.
That's a missile right there, man. Listen, guys, check out the description of this video, chargeduplist.com, pre-stack data. The data's fire, man. You got to go check it out. Use it in your business. Bigger pockets, yo, bless, man. Do not get caught with the contraband. I see it's count time. I know exactly what count time is, man. Go ahead and get off this YouTube, my brother. All right, get that phone under the bed, wherever you got it at, in the ceiling tile, and we gonna catch you, man. We gonna catch you. Anthony Russell, I got you. We'll make sure that you're good to go. Let me see. We got one last question. Do sellers and buyers become upset at your wholesale fee? Good question.
Man, if a buyer is upset at my wholesale fee, we don't need to be doing business. As long as I'm bringing you a briefcase of money, you're crazy if you don't think that I'm gonna take some of that money out of that briefcase and put it back for myself.
Facts. Yeah, 110%, man. 110%. Jeff, man, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. I've really enjoyed having you on here. 110%. What do you want to leave the people with, man? I want to let you, before I close this thing out, what do you want to leave the people with for sure?
Man, if I can leave the people with anything, I would say this. So a lot of people want to know, well, what's the best source of marketing? Should I cold call? Should I text? Should I RVM? Should I pay-per-click? The best form of marketing is consistency. So whatever form of marketing that you're doing, if you're consistent in it, you're going to get a deal. And once you get consistent in it and you scale it, you go to something else. And that's my plan. That's what I want to do. So that's what I want to leave you guys with.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. You're going to make it happen and do some incredibly great things.
Appreciate it, Maurice.
Yeah, shout out to Maurice, man. Out there, man. Fellow U family, man. Much love to Maurice. Great brother right there as well. We got one last question I'll tap real quick. For cold calling, how can I start off the convo? It's my first day. Jeff.
You gotta get Coach Script. Man, that script is amazing. Like, you can do it in your sleep. You got to get that script. Is it anywhere where folks who are even not in the U can get it, Coach?
If you go, I don't think that actual charged up U script, because I know we put that together special for y'all. Okay. However, I do have a different script that we've used and approved in the past. If you're not a U member, go to my free Facebook group. There's a link below this video once this is over as well. Wholesaling Houses Supercharged on Facebook. Click on the file section. Look at the cold call scripts that are there. If you're one of my students, all right, and you're in my coaching program, stick to the script in the program. All right. Bam. Yo, shout out to Bam. Thank you, man. Thank you. All right, guys. Look, we're going to get ready to get out of here. It's been a great conversation, man. We usually do these things for like an hour. We've gone 2 hours. Jeff, man, you've been an incredible guest.
Appreciate it, Coach.
You dropped some crazy gems tonight. It's been a pleasure, man, talking with you and seeing how you're implementing the information that I've taught and putting it to work. I think it's beautiful, man, how it's I know that it's blessing your family. You're reaching your goals, man. You're setting new goals. You're going to knock those things out of the park. So salute to you, man. Thank you for being in the U. Thank you for being a leader in the U, being vocal, jumping on the calls every week and, jumping in, asking questions when you need help. It's definitely been appreciated, man. So we're going to get ready to get out of here. For everybody else in the U fam, I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Much love.